He's done it! He's finding success in the middle of this furball. Absolute calamity from this.
The winch is going to stall it, and he's done it! He's done it!
Unbelievable from OG. Carries the team. How has Carnifex got away with that? He even gets the second.
Hello, Raiders. Oh, wait, no. Finalist. Hello, everybody. My name is Rio, and I am joined by the one, the only Merch. How are you doing today, Mr. Merch?
What is up, Rio? I am so good. I also have Arc Raiders on my mind, but right now I have the last chance qualifiers on my mind, and I can't get it out of my head.
Absolutely. Today, stakes are massive. We have 4 teams that have been a little bit kind of in the middle of the pack, a little bit lower than that, and they are fighting for 2 spots. That's it. We only have 2 spots left, so we are losing 2 teams, and we are welcoming 2 more teams into the championship weekend, which will be next weekend. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty intense. Let's take a quick look at all the teams that we're playing today, and we're going to get started with Diminish and Team Kiri. We will be getting started on Fortune Stadium, Sis Horizon, and Bernal. So, Merch, what are your thoughts on this lineup with these 2 teams?
We got some really nice map choices here for sure. I know that Fortune is your go-to. We got Sis as my go-to if we're not going with Soul under construction. And then Bernal has been a map that we've kind of seen just slip its way into the meta. Teams were kind of standoffish with it at first, But as they started getting those reps in on it, we're definitely seeing more Bernal in today's game.
Yeah, it's cool to see. It's been really kind of a staple this whole season. Just everybody was picking Bernal. When it came out, everybody was just kind of like, "Man, Bernal's kind of a mid map." And now I love that it's picked. It makes for a really interesting play area for everybody in there. But yeah, we are going to get it right into these games. I think the lobby is about to get started in just a moment. But any final thoughts about these? Actually, hold that because I have a fortune for you, Mr. Merch. I've actually upgraded my fortune game and now I have to open them. And now I'm struggling to open a fortune cookie and gonna struggle to read it real quick, but here we go. A personal goal will be realized. There you go, Merch.
Applicable.
Happy fortune on Fortune Stadium. And maybe the fortunes will be good for Diminish or Team Kiri as we get started.
Yeah, we do have the Vault 1 spawn over on the Njimo side of things. Quick rundown of the teams. Team Kiri is Viper, Ikazo, and Graziv. And for Diminish, we have Belize, Cafenio, and Bubba. Some long-range pop shots coming in here, but I do not expect much to actually occur here. We do see some long-distance goo coming in as well from across the... that's on Ikazo on himself, giving him cover, actually. But again, we just have the two teams peppering each other, and Kiri is going to go for this forced tap here.
Yeah, I'm glad that they finally tapped it. I was afraid that this would be a long stall out, but immediately there's Akazo running the goo gun, just doing what he does best, just throwing it down everywhere. The other team is basically on the other side of that wall, but there is a whole goo fortress just defending him and buying that space. They go through the gateway. It seems like Team Kiri might be able to get this plugged in. They're immediately dived on by Diminish. The gameplay is just picking up really quick, and two of them have died. Viper being the last one remaining on Team Kiri. He's surviving with just a sliver of HP, and there goes Viper, sadly, as Team Diminish will get the plug and get things started.
Yeah, that was a pretty convincing wipe, as we are getting a look at the replay on the final hunt down kill on Viper. Great heads-up play out of Cafenio, doubling back, and it looks like we are going to see Team Diminish in control here with the plug. Kiri hasn't even come off of spawn yet, so there is plenty of time to set up here, and that first fight did not go the way Kiri drew it up.
Yeah, definitely not the way that they expected, and now we're seeing it in basically the most difficult place to get into, the hospital spawn. Nice gateway, though, from Viper will bring everybody over immediately, healing them up immediately as well, getting some good healing damage, pulling them off into that corner. But right now, it's not looking good as they're dying just a little bit each push that they're making. Going up into the stairwell, having to get healed up with that infuser, things are slowing down just a little bit. Team Kiri seems to be struggling to find any bit of footing to break their way into cash out A.
Yeah, Diminish is in a pretty dominant position right now. We do see an attempt coming in from Team Kiri's side, and they have slowed things down, which I think is good. They still have plenty of time to work with on point, as we do see Graziv trying to do some... Oh, okay, he's got a portable APS turret now. Actually,
They didn't work immediately.
Immediate use. He's going to look to cover up that goo, but the goo gets set on fire, so in about 6 seconds, it's gone, and in 0 seconds, Graziv is gone to the SA-12 of Belize. Viper is now taking some heavy shots as he falls, leaving Ikazo all by himself. Ooh. He's going to fall to a fat RPG from Belize, and that is pretty much going to be 1-0.
Yeah, that was such an interesting formation because you can see right here, Gaziv is out of position from the rest of his team. He goes into that stairwell, just immediately gets gunned down, and then it's 1, 2, 3, and the rest of them go down like that. And now they don't even have a chance to get over there. They're just kind of hanging out, waiting for the respawn. There they come, but there goes Cash Out A. No chance, but maybe they'll have a little bit better luck as they go towards the next vault.
Yeah, not the start they wanted for Team Kiri. 3 pretty convincing fights, I believe, 1 on Vault and 2 on Point. And now it looks like Diminish actually has a head start over at Vault 4 as far as positioning goes, as well, as they had a heads-up play in getting out of there. They knew the timing and that Team Kiri would just not be able to get back. So we have a long trek for Ikazo and company. Meanwhile, Diminish and the boys are all set up in and around Vault 2.
Yeah, and right now they're playing to their height advantage. Diminish, look at this, they're able to shoot some good damage down on Akazo, forcing him to go into a corner, goo himself off, and hold this vault if they can. The vault is being put through the gateway, so they seem to have gotten away for just a moment. They're going to make their way towards cash out C, get the plug, but it seems like all of Diminish are right behind them. There is a nice bounce pad gateway as well, bringing everybody directly on top of cash out C. It is going to get plugged in immediately. These two teams are about to clash. Actually, it doesn't even look like the plug will go off just yet. Cavaneo spots one out. He's trying to do some damage, and there is a Kazo just going directly into it, and Bubba with the height advantage deals a damaging shot from that repeater.
Yeah, some nice. Oh my goodness, beautiful shots coming in from Bubba actually, and some body shots, letting him know just how dirty that was. But I did just want to say, it just seems like Kiri is getting picked apart one by one. This time it was Viper being maybe a little bit too froggy, going for that plug. A bit ill-advised for sure, but some nasty shots, as we're probably going to see on the replay here, getting the heals off, and then Bubba just with two nasty quickscopes taking him out. The double headshot, can't get better than that.
Can't get better than that indeed, as it seems that Team Kiri has respawned, made their advance over there, and looks like they're about to hit Cash Out C. They're trying to get on the same height as the rest of Diminish, but it seems like they're struggling just a little bit. There's the drop. This is dropping it down into an APS. They decide to pull off. That would have been a perfect time to throw some goo down, and they try and do that just now, but sadly that goo did not create a wall. It kind of created a little bit of a dragon in the flooring. And yeah, unfortunate positioning, and Cash Out C is more than halfway done at this point.
Yeah, and we are seeing some heavy shots. Cafenio falling to 2 bars of health, so this could go well for Team Kiri. He's getting pushed, but he's going to absolutely turn on Viper. That cannot happen, and that is going to be vital to this team fight. All Cafenio has to do now is play his life. This really puts Kiri in a tough position. They're going to need to make something out of nothing, as we do see Belize with 2 targets in sight, but the APS is going to prevent something, but not enough for Graziv, as he's going to fall, and so does Ikazo. And that is a convincing 2-0 for map number 1.
Yeah, it's really impressive because I honestly consider these two teams very close in skill, but for some reason Diminish came in strong. They wanted to hit hard today, and Team Kiri just couldn't get on top of it in any situation. I want to say that it was a little bit positioning, but it just also felt like they just weren't working as a cohesive unit. I'm not sure if you saw something different though, Merch.
No, that's exactly what I was seeing, to be honest. It just looked like a bunch of, if I'm referring to Arc Raiders here, a bunch of solo no-fills going in there because it was just 1v3 every single time. That's something that Team Kiri is going to need to work on. I know that is part of their strategy as well, because a lot of it revolves around Ikazo actually finding picks as opposed to the light. He plays so unique with the goo and everything, but when you look at the scoreboard here, you just see that nobody was really finding the picks, and it is so difficult to get map control and vault control when you guys are just not slaying out.
Yeah, I think that that was basically it. You really can't have somebody that goes under 1,000 damage. I mean, it just means that you didn't have good positioning. You didn't have just kind of the right, intent. I don't know. I struggled to kind of describe what went wrong there outside of just a little bit of basic teamwork. So I don't know if they're just kind of mixed up. They're just a little scared. I don't know what's happening. Maybe the weight of today is actually starting to weigh on them, but that also means that they have one more opportunity to kind of get in this and get in the upper bracket, or it might be over for them.
Yeah, I do think going into map 2, I'm not sure if this is Team Kiri's pick or not, but I do believe that it might have more of a bit of skill expression on Sis Horizon for them to kind of
Yeah.
boast what they were trying to do over on Fortune Stadium. That's my anticipation going into this round. I do expect Team Kiri to turn it around for this game too.
I would hope so. I would expect so as well. But one interesting thing that I'm seeing is that Akazo is still bringing the goo gun with him, and we know that it works really well. But I feel like everything that I've seen throughout in this entire season, the goo gun works better in cash out than it does in 3v3s. In 3v3s, it just, you don't have that same timing. You don't have that same ability to kind of really encase things in goo. Very rarely you do, and it just is a better tool, I think, for a more chaotic mode. And I am curious to see if maybe he's going to change off that. We all know that he is the goo man himself, so him changing it off of it might not be what he does, but it's kind of what I'm seeing as one of their downsides at the moment. But with all that said, we are loading into Sis Horizon. Can Team Kiri find their footing and show us what they got?
I sure hope so. And just to touch on that really quick, I think a big thing with that goo gun in 3v3 is being the aggressor and, well, I guess being the defender. You want to be the one holding point when you have goo gun in your hands. That's when you can really shine with it. But we do have fast engagement coming in as Ikazo's getting healed up very quickly from Graziv. Nice shots coming in as well, taking out Belize to about half health. Cafenio finding some shots on Viper as well, who now needs to get out of there though because he is very weak. We do see another thermal board being used, not something you see every day, especially in this high level, but it has been working for him. A lot of damage coming in here as Cafenio is going to fall, so that's the pick that they needed. That was to the hands of Viper. Bubba's very weak as well as Belize. One shot now, and he's going to fall. Everybody on Team Kiri under 50 HP, but that's all they needed as they're going to go ahead and tap vault number 1.
That felt like a real team fight. Team Kiri, all of them surviving on a sliver of HP. This is what I was saying earlier when I said that these two teams are really balanced, and that's what you can expect from two teams that are balanced. And look at that good clown costume. That's actually some great drip as well. That clown costume goes great with everything. I know I've got sidetracked, but it's a great cosmetic, in all honesty. But Team Kiri looking strong. They're gonna get the plug. They're gonna be able to set up their defenses on this cash out. So maybe this is what we were talking about at the beginning of the map. Maybe this is what they needed. They needed just that little bit of respite so that they could set up their defenses, and now they've done it.
Yes, we are going to see Ikazo most likely take an underneath position. That's usually what he does with his setup, but it doesn't look like they have much time for that right now. Bubba actually gets taken out. So again, Viper finding that pick. Belize has his trophy in hand. They're going to look for a quick res. If I was Team Kiri, I would try to shut that down immediately, but it does not look like they're actually able to do so. So we are getting a quick reset out of Diminish, who's now looking to take height control. I like the approach here, but if you are Team Kiri, you need to reposition. You might need to replace all of your traps as well that you have underneath point to set it up. But a nice jump pad is going to put Bubba in a really powerful position. Unfortunately, they do not really have any eyes on anything from up here.
Yeah, that's really sad because that would have been an ultimate height spot, but all of Team Kiri are very much pulled down on the lower levels. They're ready to play for the drop, and that's exactly what's about to happen as Belize goes for the tap. They drop it down onto their level. Belize pulls off. They're staying very close to each other. All of Diminish staying on these floating cubes on the outer rim. Now trying to spot anybody out, but there is Viper as well. He's gone up the floor above them, ready to just dive on them. The engagement is starting with Ikazo just gooing everybody off, stopping them in their place, building up a wall and trying to get the hell out of there, somehow staying alive and turning it on its head, getting some shots off directly into Belize. They are doing a great job of kiting this, and they need to hold on for just a little bit longer, but that fire barrel goes back and forth like hot potato, thrown back to the unfortunate Ikazo, but there is some C4 going off on the point. They need to stall for just a little bit longer, taking some good shots off. He gets one. Can he get all three? There is the second one. Both of them surviving on a sliver of HP. Wow, this is some good stuff from Team Kiri, and they just felt like they were sleeping in the first match.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about. It is so much more effective, Ikazo, I'm saying, when he is in that defensive position. That is his comfort zone. It is so difficult to deal with all of the tricks that he has. He's just recently thrown in the gravity cube as well, so something that even the high-level players just aren't really accustomed to dealing with all the time. And Ikazo is so good at making it work for himself, but being on defense is such a key point to that one, as we do see now Team Kiri in somewhat of an advantageous position over on Vault 2, but Diminish is right on the scene. Bubba quickly taking some damage there.
Yeah, that is impressive. And honestly, just go back to the gravity cube. It's such a versatile utility that I'm amazed that it's basically Akazo the only person that I see it. I've been seeing it more in my games, but I definitely don't play at this high level. But, you know, take that for what you will. As right now, things have slowed down just a little bit. And as I say that, Viper just gets a kill off of screen, and Bubba now forcing to run a little bit off to the side. The vault has finally been tapped. A gateway now has been set up as well. They'll be able to bring that vault directly over there to cash out C, I believe.
Yeah, they're probably going to turn around and book it towards C. That pick that Viper got still has not been revived. They're most likely going to be just playing the coin on that one. But Viper definitely heard the message because he has gotten first blood, I believe, in every single team fight this map. We do see a little bit of a lull going on here, though, but Kiri is looking to move this point. And it also looks like Kafenio has finally reunited with his team. Viper, again, in a really nice spot. Nobody would really expect him to be up there at this time, but Bubba finds him anyway, overstaying his welcome. And now that might prove to be a little unfortunate for Team Kiri, as Ikazo's taking some heavy fire, as is Graziv, down to just one shot. They're going to need to figure this one out quickly. Kafenio making a hole, but he's going to play a flank here. A really nice play. He's going to get the pick on EK, and I think he knows exactly where Graziv is as well, but they are on the hunt for him. Looking through this goo. He's going to go through the peephole as well, and they are going to find this wipe.
I love how immediately, as soon as somebody on Diminish realized that there was an opening on Team Kiri, all of them just turned what they were doing and started to go for the fights. They knew that this is their time to dive on there, get a team wipe, and control the rest of the map. That's some really good gameplay. Those are some good comms. And I love when I could just see a call that has been made, and that's exactly what happened. They dived on them. They were able to get some kills, got that team wipe, and they now control the vault. And I'm sure as we're watching these replays, have gotten it plugged and had all the time in the world to set up their defenses. And look at this. It has been pulled out into the open, not fully into that street, but it still allows them to get on that ultimate height and just hold it and try and kite it for as long as possible. And here's the advance from Team Kiri.
Bubba unfortunately fell down, but he's got the tech to get back up. This is a bad spot for it to be in if you're Team Kiri, but they're making Diminish pounce on this one a little bit prematurely because of the presence of that goo gun. They know if they wait too long, some sort of fortress is going to be built, but some nice shots coming in from Bubba as well as Belize trying to get some damage in on Ikazo here. Again, a little bit of a reset we're seeing as Kiri is now repositioning, but Bubba knows exactly where they're at, and he's hitting some nasty shots on Ikazo across the building here. Again, just not much happening. A little bit more movement coming in from Graziv, who also has that repeater in hand. I would like to see him get active with it, find a pick possibly on Cafeneo. That would do them wonders for Team Kiri.
Yeah, they need to find some opening right now, and it's looking like we're going to see 3 cash outs for this match as Team Kiri is struggling to find any opening. This cash out is ticking down. They can't break through on this ultimate height, and everybody is just kiting this ever so perfectly. Bubba with the crazy shot gets into an engagement, brings him down. It's a 2 versus 2 with the cash out. We only have about 10 seconds left on it. Somebody needs to go for it, and that's exactly what's happening. They're diving on it, and the goo has gone down. If they hold on to it, they'll be able to grab it, but no, look at this. The goo stall is perfect. One more attempt as all of Team Kiri has gone down, but Akazo, Bubba coming in there, gets the kill, saves the cash out, and looks like we'll see one more cash out for these two teams.
Yeah, Bubba knew exactly how much time he had, and he lined up that shot, taking no chances. We're going to see a 1-1 here, and for those of you at home, if Diminish take this point, that is it for Team Kiri. So this is going to be a pretty high pressure point for Team Kiri here, and a lot is on the line for Team. A lot on the line for Diminish as well.
Yeah, both teams just trying to get in it and struggling to stay alive. And really, it all comes down to this. And if Team Kiri wants to stay in this, and honestly, I want to see it go to 3 maps. So I want to see them fight it out, get us at least one more cash out to their name. I don't want to see it end here. As I said, these two teams are wonderful teams, especially when they finally get at it. And we're about to see just that one more time as Team Diminish get the plug, but Team Kiri closely chasing behind.
Yeah, we are going to see that plug from Diminish. And again, Bubba is just putting in work with this repeater now. He is causing major problems for Team Kiri. Ooh, amazing shots on Graziv as well, but Graziv takes him out. Gets traded by Cafaneo, so leaving Viper all by himself. The lone light that could. He might try to take a tactical wipe here, but it doesn't look like he's tactically wiping. He's just going to regular wipe. And that's going to be a reset for Team Diminish. Plenty of time here left on this point, and Team Curie will still have another chance. I misspoke, so they will have one more chance if they do get knocked out here.
Absolutely. And real quick in chat, Mr. Dreadalicious, how you doing, bud? Thank you for all of the gift subs in the chat. You are a true gentleman, and I hope we see you on the mic here soon again. But with that said, the respawn has happened. Team Kiri facing the uphill battle, and that uphill battle is exactly what they are seeing as Diminish has taken a height advantage. And as I say that, they drop off because they know that Team Kiri has now gone to their height, but this cash out has been pulled out. We're more than halfway done. Clock is ticking down. Graziv finds one, getting some shots off, but no, they pull off just in time. They're staying closely grouped together. Viper brings one of them down. This could be the opening that they need as they're struggling to kind of stay in it, stay at a good formation, but somehow Diminish are kiting this perfectly, Merged.
Yeah, they're going to need to make a move on point two very soon here as a quick defib does come in. Cafenio is still down, and they have the guys so low on Diminish, specifically Bubba, as Belize is getting healed up, but they need to make some forward progress onto this point. Even if they do get the wipe, time is dwindling down now, and it looks like Cafenio is going to be coming off of spawn just right now. We're seeing a delayed push. I don't know if I agree with this one. A weird time to go for that steal. EK is going to lose the one to Belize, and that's going to put Graziv and Viper in a very poor position, and I do not see Viper 1v3 in this scenario.
Oh my gosh, that's so unfortunate. You called it perfectly. You're just like, why are they going for this steal right now? There were so many people up. It was out in the open and they just died. And then they left everybody but Viper and it just did not work in their favor. So I don't know. It did not seem like Team Kiri's day. They had one moment there, one cash out that I was like, oh my God, look at this. This is the team. This is Ikazo and company. But did not work out, unfortunately, at the end. And Diminish will take that in a 2-0. Wrap it up really quick. No more map number 3, and they will take, I believe, slot number 1. Diminish.
Shout out to Diminish, and if you are Team Kiri, keep your heads up because you do have that one more go at things. But that is going to line us up for our second best of 3 of the day, which is going to be between the Pioneers and Pulsar, Rio.
Pioneers and Pulsar, two really well-known names. One of them is going to struggle a little bit. One of them might make it on. It's really exciting, but yeah, two signed orgs going up against each other, and chances are we'll be saying goodbye to one of them. So the stakes are high, and yeah, I don't know what to feel about this. I'm already sad that Team Kiri is going to struggle and didn't go through already immediately. But that's just the way it is. Diminish showed what they had, and getting a 2-0 is pretty convincing. But what are your thoughts about these next two teams?
Yeah, so coming up, we got Pioneers and Pulsar, teams that I don't think anybody expected to be playing today. I think everybody
Yeah.
expected them to qualify a little bit earlier. But on the Pioneers, we should be having Spawns, Llama, and Brendy. And for Pulsar, we should be seeing Boo Boo, Sparrow, and Brutal Logic if the rosters stay how I believe they're going to. But these are some household names. Everybody's pretty familiar with them at this point, and some high level players that, again, we're just not accustomed to seeing with their backs against the wall like this.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit weird, but you know, that's what we get, and I'm glad that we do have these last chance qualifiers because it would be so much more brutal if we didn't give them a chance. If we just cut it off and the last play day was, oh nope, sorry, you didn't make it. We did lose two teams on the last play day, so we are a little bit brutal, but you know, we wanted to give two more teams a chance to get in and fight with the big dogs that have made it in and qualified basically through the play days. So it's kind of exciting. It is kind of it's a nice format. And you know, at the end of the day, you get to see more finals action, and I think that's really what everybody's here for.
Yeah, we all love the finals. Let's just go back to that last series we saw and touch on Diminish because they looked pretty convincing. But if you are Team
Mhm.
Kiri going into your next series, are you considering what changes are you considering? Because something obviously wasn't really clicking there. They showed a glimpse of what they're
Yeah.
capable of. I think when Viper was finding those picks, things were going extremely well for them. So personally, I think playing around Viper might be the move. But did you see anything in that one, Rio?
It just seemed like lack of team comms. You can see when the frustration happens, or the lack of communication, or just something is not happening in the way that it should. And a lot of times that can just be stress, or just somebody's having a bad day and they're not communicating with each other. It's really interesting the few times that I've kind of dove into like a team in their actual comms, and they're really it's just this fluid kind of communication style. And then you dive into a team that's struggling a little bit, and it's just like little comms, it's little updates. It's not really fun conversation. It's kind of very tight and tense. And I just kind of feel like maybe that the communication was their issue. But who knows? Maybe Akaza will send me a DM after this and be like, "No, we were communicating fine." Who knows? It's all wild and up to speculation. But maybe we'll turn our attention, and maybe we have the map bands ready for the next group. Not sure if production is ready for that. And look at that, our star in the back end, Mr. Burrita, is gracing us with Fortune Stadium, Sis Horizon, and Bernal. So the exact
Yep.
same lineup. That does mean no. I'm sorry, production. I'm production has informed me that they are big, bold-faced liars. So
Unbelievable.
apparently the first two are correct. The third one The third one, I'm being told it could be Nozomi, but I don't really trust my sources anymore. I might have to find somebody else to whisper in my ear. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Burrito. So yeah, that'll be a great lineup for these teams. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now we get the good graphic. All
Well,
right,
we're
and we
getting
see,
Fortune again.
yeah, we are getting fortune again, and thankfully I do have one more fortune cookie. So the first person I see in chat will get a fortune. And of course, it's a name that I have no idea how to pronounce. LZANGI 499. Great name.
W name.
But your fortune for today, as we load into Fortune Stadium in just a moment, is you will be able to achieve your dreams. I mean, that's a fortune. That's a kind of a generic one.
These are too
But
positive.
yeah, they are too they're too positive.
Too positive. It's not
Jesus.
real.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that fortune means something to you and you actually achieve your dreams. But with that, production, are we waiting on anybody, or are we are about to send it. But what are your thoughts on Fortune Stadium? Because on the last one that we loaded into, it seemed like Diminish controlled it by just getting height. Do you think that that's the most important thing on this map, or do you think it's a little bit different for each team, maybe?
I think it's definitely team comp dependent, but a general rule of thumb is you always just want to be playing height, and I don't really see many scenarios where that doesn't hold true.
Yeah.
Fortune being one of those maps, there's just so many height points, and the parts of the map that they were fighting on didn't even really fully display the ultimate height either on that map. We just saw some very fast and convincing fights. So I'm curious to see if it plays out a little bit different here in this matchup, which I think it will, just based on like the team comps and metas that we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely true. And these two teams are really kind of in the same boat. They're very closely tied. I think even in their point totals, they weren't too far off from each other. Yeah, the Pioneers and Pulsar Blue, a difference of 150 points roughly. So very close in their play days. It'll be very interesting to see if one of them is able to take a little bit over the other one. But hey, who knows? We don't have to speculate any further as we are loading into the map.
Yeah, our second to last series of the day. After this, we are heading into a best of 5 to determine who will actually qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a bit wild that we're just burning through them. I am very hopeful that we get to 3 maps today with this grouping, because this is a fun grouping. I mean, it's Pulsar and the Kansas City Pioneers with quite a fun loadout, and honestly, both teams have wonderful players that have been in the scene for quite some time. Already getting it off. There's a nice rooftop battle between these two teams. Pioneers, though, have decided to go for the tap, immediately kind of exposing themselves just a little bit, but still staying very close to each other.
Yeah, and if you're a meta enjoyer, you can take a breath of fresh air, as this is probably going to be the most normal matchup you see of the day. Pretty standard loadouts coming from both teams. Nice positioning from Sparrow. He is so good at finding those opening picks, so he's going to be a player to watch in this series for sure, especially that light-on-light fight against spawns. But we do see the Pioneers just trying to play this a bit tactically, very tactically actually, as they're just waiting for the Pulsar move, and they do sniff it out. They're just going to be on their tail a little bit here. And they do actually go for the aggressive zipline. I'm always afraid of those god zips, to be honest with you, Rio.
Yeah, I know. You just telegraph that, hey, I'm headed this direction straight one way, and basically anybody with any aiming ability can just shoot you directly in that path. So yeah, it's an interesting choice, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, but they're here. They made it over unharmed, and now they're just trying to figure out how they are going to break through. All of Pulsar are set up pretty much a floor below their cash out, ready to drop it, and they're still pretty close to it as well. There is the attempt going off right now by the Pioneers. They've got a dome shield, they've got a gateway, they just flipped it uncontested. Where are Pulsar White?
Yeah, that was just a beautiful timing push out of Pioneers. They knew White was probably just kiting at that point, and they seized the opportunity perfectly. And now the tables have completely turned, and they're going to try to do the exact same thing here. Let's see if Pioneers are in a position to stop it. They are, at least for the time being, as Llama does find one. Spawns is very low, though, and Brutal's going to find a massive RPG, but he does get counter-winched, and the heals coming in as well is going to put Brutal Logic in a terrible position. 1v2 with not much health left. However, he does find some good shots on Llama. Not enough, as you have 2 Pioneers and a dome shield.
2 Pioneers and a dome shield sounds like the setup of a joke that I can't think of quick enough, but they do have plenty of time to set up now. I think that they're going to run down this clock 8 more seconds before anybody can spawn in, unless the spawn gods spawn them directly below them. I don't think that there's going to be any chance for Pulsar White to make it over there in time, but I don't know. Here it comes. Am I about to eat my words as they go across the bounce pad? A little bit of debris there kind of blocking their path. They're still making it. They're wanting to go for the dive, the direct steal. They're on top of each other. The winch claw going off. Llama down in that first engagement. RPG trying to hit anybody it can. Boo Boo, the last person remaining on Pulsar White, able to get 1 kill, but surviving on just a sliver and going down. Pioneers have won every engagement so far.
Yeah, Pioneers looking good. That actually was almost a winnable push for Pulsar somehow, but in those last second fights, I think most teams don't really care about the wipe. They're just so all in on going for that stall. But we do see Pioneers now going for a quick gateway push too, so they're looking to completely avoid this fight on Vault 2 and just get that box completely out of there.
Yeah, nice little gateway as well. I like the skin on that one. You can definitely tell that they use it quite a bit. You know, it's one of the more useful gadgets in the game. And Cash Out C is right below them. I'm kind of curious where they're going to take it, because B is in a more isolated area, but getting over there, they're going to head directly into all of Pulsar White. I think that they know that right now, because everybody has just stopped and dropped the vault, going into the stairwell, the deadly, deadly stairwell. Pulsar White are now bringing it down, slowing things down just a little bit. Gateway to get them height, but it is Sparrow kind of alone on his own. The rest of his teammates on the other side of the stairwell. Not sure what anybody's plan is just yet, as I think the Pioneers have finally picked up the vault, but haven't moved it anywhere.
Yeah, I like this play out of the Pioneers too, just baiting that vault a little bit, playing that off angle. I don't think anyone was really spotted out yet besides those pop shots that were taken. But now we see a little bit of dispersion as well. This is going to come down to Sparrow making a move with that gateway. The only problem is the Pioneers do see it. They are going to go for a pad up on top instead. And now Pulsar is in a great position up on height on the Pioneers, who surrendered that positioning. Fat heals coming in from Sparrow, and some big damage as well with that 93R. This is going to be a convincing fight for Pulsars. All three are still alive, and we're going to need to see serious work come out of spawns if we want to change that. But unfortunately for him and for the Pioneers, they are going to fall there. Hindsight's always 2020. I did actually really like the way that they played that, but I guess once you give up height like that, it's just too much to come back from.
Yeah, and it was interesting how they forced the engagement on the top of the roof and really didn't go for the plug. I think that they should have forced it and made everybody dive on one spot. But hey, that's how it goes. They played it well, and finally, Pulsar Blue have the upper hand. They are now getting set up on height and going to be a really interesting advance from the Pioneers. They're going a little bit off to the side of it right now. Spawn's leading the charge with his teammates really close to him, so this would be a perfect opportunity. There's the invis, now the bounce as well. They did go to the rooftop, try to spot anybody out in this push, but really everybody is very bundled up together. Pulsar White just don't want to be seen in any positioning, and I don't even know if anybody from the Pioneers has figured this out just yet.
Yeah, this is one of the more unique cash outs to not only push, but also to hold as you play pretty far off site. There's pretty much only one position that is a good position to hold on this one, and it is exactly where Pulsar is now. But the Pioneers have looked to flip the script and force the hand of Pulsar, and that's exactly what they have done. However, Llama has taken some heavy shots, and that is not going to be good for the Pioneers as Pulsar is fully healthy. However, Spawns is going to find that pick with the M11 point-blank range, and Brutal Logic's going to fall as well, so this is going extremely well for the Pioneers. Sparrow, not much time. He can't really afford to wipe. He has to kite this as well as he can, but that goo is going to do wonders for the Pioneers, who are now looking to flip. Even if Sparrow gets this pick here, it is not good news for Pulsar, and that right there is going to be a 1-0 map count.
Yeah, that was pretty convincing. I mean, this was such a slow cash out as well. Just the way that they really only played it with basically one life, one push, and they got in there. They found the perfect opportunity. It was really Spawns kind of wrapping around, getting 1 and 2 kills almost immediately, just dealing a lot of damage. Didn't give them enough time to flip it right back. It was a good performance, and it's just not looking great from Pulsar Blue. I know that that is a very hard cash out. It's in a weird location. They didn't have a lot of time to get over there because of how far away they were from the point, but it was just interesting. I really hope that we get some more matches. It's a little more competitive, in this. I want to see these matches go to 3 cash outs. I want to see 3 maps. And this was better than our last group, but I really just don't want to fall into that same thing again.
Yeah, the 2-0 might be a little bit deceptive there, as it did seem sort of back and forth. Looking at the scoreboard here, nobody really slaying out for Pulsar, but nobody really dropped the ball either. However, for the Pioneers, Spawns was absolutely popping off, and Llama doing great support work with 6 assists as well. So great team fights that we saw out of the Pioneers. And I want to touch on Llama's drip as well, because I don't know if you saw that heavy Rio, but that thing has aura to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice loadout, and I'm glad that we have their bundles in the store as well. It's just kind of cool to see all these orcs in game, and then finally see them all having that kind of nice little drip surrounding it too. It's a good way to support your teams, and definitely go out and buy that bundle if you haven't bought any of them. I've bought all of them, but don't tell my wife.
Yeah, you got to go out there and buy the bundles, at least for the teams that you support, if not all of them. But there is absolute drip to be got. And we also have another map to be loading into, and I believe it is Cis Horizon.
It is. It'll be Cis Horizon, so kind of a mirror imaging of what we saw last time. This could be another 2-0. I really don't want it to be, and it's such a weird thing to say that, hey, Pulsar Blue is struggling, because I think, or I'm sorry, Pulsar White, in just Pulsar struggling shouldn't be something that I say. I think that they're just one of the older teams. Their roster's really well known, and it's surprising that they're in this situation to begin with. And even on the other side of things, their EU counterpart was in the same situation, and it didn't work out for them. So you kind of hope, if anybody out there that's a Pulsar fan, you got to send them your energy, send them your aura, send them whatever you can, good thoughts, good fortunes, whatever you're feeling, because these guys need it. They might be one map away from both Pulsars being out of PHL Season 2, which is, I'm sorry, no, we still have one more map, but it's still a little bit shocking to think that that could be a possibility.
Yeah, it is just not something that anybody was expecting to see on day one of the season. And it's not something that anybody wants to see at home right now. I don't think anybody at home wants either one of these teams to actually go home unless you're rooting for one against the other. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And we are heading into map number 2.
That is the way the cookie crumbles, but who it crumbles for will be determined here shortly. Who it crumbles for? Boy, that feels very like deep and also not at all. But anyway, we're gonna keep going as Llama holding that goo barrel ready to go towards vault number 1. They did spawn really close to it, so I'm gonna be shocked if they don't go for a tap almost right away. And there it is. There's the tap, throwing the goo to get himself back up there. Nice little movement from Mr. Llama as the teams are about to start their rooftop engagement.
Yeah, the who it crumbles for is going to be your next fortune cookie. I am calling it. But we do have somebody way out in the distance for Pulsar Blue. This is an incredible split we're seeing as they're just set up on both points. It looks like they're trying to force the hand of the Pioneers to go towards a specific cash out. I like the manipulation that we're seeing here. However, they do not have to take this fight 3v2. And the Pioneers are well aware of that, as now they're at a 3v2 advantage fully. And it's really a 1v1 because of how split the rest are, but some nasty shots coming in from Sparrow. Brutal finds one as well, and Brendy's going to get a res. So Sparrow all by himself. He does have Vault on his side, though, so he can kind of delay this as long as he wants.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation to be in, being the only remaining person, and it seems like he wants to go for this plug. That'll be a great position for him to be in. I might die and then get my whole team to recoin or come back together, but it seems like they just want to run out the clock. They're going to get both teammates to coin back in. They drop it 1 level down. This is the cash out that got a little bit of a rework very recently, and it now has 2 more levels down there, so it makes it where you can't drop it just immediately out into a very open area. A little bit more blocked off as well, but here is all of Team Pioneers. They're going to go directly for a steal, and this is a great opportunity because all of Pulsar Blue, they're nowhere there, nowhere near them.
Yeah, this is the second time they did that, and it looks like they're going to find a pick as well on Brutal Logic. However, Llama and Brendy are pretty low, so this might turn south quickly, but Spawns is finding some huge damage, and this is going to go to the hands of the Pioneers almost indefinitely. Just a little bit of a delay here on this wipe. A nice angle Spawns is trying to find as he does get the pick on Sparrow, and he's going to find another one here. Make it Llama who finds the pick, but that one was pretty foreseeable once you saw that first pick and the way it kind of went down.
Yeah, you could see them really kind of rushing in there as soon as they knew that they had moved too far out of there, and they tried to get in there, and by the time they had gotten there, the flip had already gone off, and the Pioneers just turned immediately. They didn't even set up their defenses. They just went and engaged right off the bat with all of Pulsar Blue and brought them down, and yeah, unfortunate, but one more attempt by Pulsar. They need to do something right now. Gateway has brought them over there. This cash out is on the bottom floor. It does have a little bit of coverage again from the rework very recently, but it might not be enough. Here is the approach. They need to get on this very soon, Merch.
Yeah, they need to hop this right now. They do have a really good idea of where the Pioneers are at, and the Pioneers don't know where they're at, so they're going to hit a huge drop here, but let's see if they can take advantage of it. Nice Dome Shield coming in from Brutal Logic. They're going to find a pick. Well, Llama's actually going to find a pick, and there's going to be a trade. Boo Boo taking some heavy fire. Brutal Logic is going to fall as well. Boo Boo now all by himself. Brendy catching some huge heals, and it didn't even matter if they wiped there. There wouldn't have been enough time to steal. So we're seeing a 1-0 for the Pioneers.
You know, there's something I just love about this top-level competitive play with lights that also run the infuser. There's something just so sexy and stylish about going from dealing damage and then immediately flipping over and infusing your teammates up. It's just the amount that they can switch off of that so quickly and so proficiently and go and aim and track just so perfectly. It's so, I don't know, it's cool to watch. One of my favorite things to see, and really seeing some good action on that already today. So just a fun little note, but the engagement is already kicking off. Vault 2 has not been tapped. Right now, the Pioneers have a little bit of height advantage, and they are dealing a lot of damage to Team Pulsar. So Pulsar needs to find a way to regroup, get a little bit of a height for themselves, and then go towards this vault.
Yeah, and I do think the finals might be the only game where you could genuinely make a healing montage look good. As we see right on cue, Boo Boo has some nice heals coming in as well. However, Pulsar is not really in the advantageous position, and they know that. They're trying to relocate here. However, the Pioneers are as well because, you never want to let them know your next move, and you don't want to stay in the same spot once you've been located. They do have a pad here ready to go. So Brendy's looking to just get eyes on Pulsar, and the second they see them, they're going to be looking to hit this RPG pad.
There is the pad, but it's not connecting on anybody just yet. Spawns does spot the other light out, but unfortunately Sparrow is ready to return the fire, and Brindy now shooting them like ducks in a gallery, but not able to connect his shots enough. And now Brindy is the only remaining person, but he does deal 1, 2. Can he survive in this, going for a fib? But no, he's now deciding to just get the hell out of there, reset, give his teammates time to get back in the battle. They've only got about 8 seconds before everybody can come right back into it.
Yeah, I think most people would take a wipe there, but heads up play from the Pioneers because they do not want to just forfeit vault possession here, knowing that there's probably gateways involved. Pulsar will get an immediate plug upon that tap. So wise decision to not wipe. They are still going to be playing from a bit of a deficit here, as we do see Pulsar now looking to go move that box ahead with the gateway, but nice shots coming in from Brendy, and he has 2 more enemies in his sight as well. He does need to be careful here. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself, bite off more than you could chew, but they do have Pulsar on the retreat.
Yeah, the retreat, they are running out of there. It seems like the Pioneers might be able to get control of this vault. Pulsar Blue, without Sparrow, is just missing like an arm that they need to really get in there. This is going to be really interesting because the Pioneers are going to get the plug, and it's going to put all the bit of pressure on Pulsar Blue to do something to get this cash out, to get a steal. But coming in on the offense is not always the best spot to be in. Maybe they can do something. Here comes Boo Boo, looking around each corner, playing it slow, not wanting to go into the engagement right off the bat. He's looking up in every opportunity because one thing Sis Horizon is known for, it's their weird heights, especially in this building. They've decided to go below it. This will be interesting if they want to drop it down. I think this might be a perfect way because it'll force all of the Pioneers to come all at once, all at this one spot. So I'm very interested to see how this pulls off. They're throwing some red barrels. Did not work for them. Gonna have to burn that C4 to get the drop on them. And at this point, all of the Pioneers know what's going on.
Yeah, the winch is going to do it, but that's going to be what forces the hand of the Pioneers. But they make their own hole up top, and this is going to completely catch Pulsar off guard. Brendy just keeping his position up top, not falling in until he absolutely has to. Wow. And that is a quick wipe from front to back on Pulsar Blue. They have maybe one more push at this one.
Yeah, definitely best to wipe front to back, as you said. Pulsar Blue are going to have one more. I don't know why I'm in such a pun mood today, but whatever. Pulsar Blue are going to have one more attempt at this, and honestly, it's going to be a dive of an attempt as well. This is breaking my heart to watch, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. Right now, the Pioneers have a great setup. Look at that formation. They're spread out just enough where they know they can dive on it at a moment's notice. Cash Out is running down. They're trying to blow up the C4, forcing it down one more level. It's in that stairwell. The dome shields are going off. All of the teams are battling it out. There goes Llama, but surely there's not enough time as the Pioneers have kited this to perfection. Wow. And at the end, getting a team wipe on Pulsar Blue as well. What a way to wrap this up. I'm a little bit stunned. A little bit stunned is probably the best way that I could think to put it right now.
That, I don't know if stunned is the right word. I was expecting a bit of a war, and it looked like the Pioneers were pretty dominant, but I think that's in the nature of the Pioneers. They show up ready to play on game day, and they just set themselves up to be in a pretty good position, as I believe that they're going to be going up against Diminish in this next one.
Yeah, that is really interesting, and I just did not expect that as well at all. I assumed that KCP realized kind of what was at stake, and they've spent this last week or so just preparing, just really battling it out, getting as much scrim practice in as they can, because that was a really good performance. And especially one thing that I noticed right at the end was their formation. Like, I think that that's something that we're starting to see more and more of in the comp scene is that they're really working on their after, almost the after plant formation to steal from Counter Strike, but that's what they're doing. And we're seeing some really good options. You have teams that play kind of all bundled up together, or they have this kind of spread out where they know that they just have to kite it for just a few seconds, and getting each of us down is the perfect way to spread out so that you are buying those few extra seconds by even just dying, just even just playing your own life. And I'm loving how it's evolving, and it to me showcases what a top tier team is and what they can do, especially just compared to some of these other teams. So that's a lot of words to say that KCP basically played that to perfection against Pulsar Blue. And I don't know, Merch, do you have any notes that on our matchup that we just saw? Felt like it was over in an instant.
Yeah, that one was in and out pretty quickly. I do want to touch on what you just said, though. It was definitely formation. I mean, the positioning and the kiting routes that the Pioneers were taking, it was pretty much textbook to the point where we were able to Tony Romo and make these calls before they happened just because they were sticking to the book. They stuck to the game plan, and that's really all you have to do is execute at that point.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that we're getting to that level of competition where it is just, high level. We've almost got strat books happening, people developing weird, wild strategies, but that's a lot to say. The matches are not done yet. It feels like we just got started, but we're going to take a quick break. And before we do, give a big shout out to our sponsor, Broxton, the man himself, the Via PR Chief Officer. He does everything that we need and gives so much support for the PHL scene. So always we want to give him some love and support. But with that, guys, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will have a best of 5 to determine who the last team to get in to PHL Championship Season 2.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Merch. I am joined by Rio, and we have our final match of the evening taking place between the Pioneers and Team Kiri. We also have our maps in, and we're going to be kicking things off on Nozomi, which we haven't seen yet today, Rio.
We haven't seen it. Oh, Nozomi's not getting played. So,
Psych, I lied.
but that's okay. We are seeing the matchup between Team Kiri and KCP. It'll be one team is able to make it, one team we say goodbye to. Both teams insanely well known. Both of them as well have played really well in both of their series, getting 2-0. So it's kind of interesting. It'll be exciting to see who goes forward. Who is your prediction there, Mr. Merch?
This is a tough one to predict. I think the volatility of Team Kiri, just the ups and downs that they bring, it's tough to bet on them with the inconsistency. However, we should
Yeah.
point out that they have a one map advantage going into this one because they are the higher seed going into the day. So they only need to win 2, where the Pioneers do need to win 3.
Okay, that is interesting to note, and I don't know. Just going off of what I saw, Team Kiri seemed to be struggling in the beginning. In that first matchup, they didn't win a single map. They won one cash out, really convincingly, but beyond that, they seem to just be struggling. So if we see that same bit of struggle again on this first map, I am going to say that this is going to be KCP all the way. But if for somehow, some way that they have figured out KCP's playstyle and are able to kind of exploit that or work around it, or really just kind of throw them off with goo or something like that. We were even talking behind the scenes about how maybe KCP just isn't as accustomed to these weird non-meta choices. So that might play in the favor of Team Kiri, but I don't know. That's a lot to say. But hey, hold on. We have one more fortune to give out. And let me see who is going to get it in the chat. You know what? Cringy PLR, I see you all the time. You recently chatted. This fortune is for you. A kind word warms for the what? A kind word warms for 3 winters. There we go. Whatever that means, I hope
get
that
it.
means something for you, and I hope that a kind word comes your way so that you have a warm winter season. But with that said, the teams have loaded in. The rooftop battle will get started in just a moment as they immediately pull up their Viper. Goes directly into it, gets winch clawed out there, and goes down. And that was an amazing 1-2 combo from his teammates. Now the rest of Team Kiri don't know what to do.
Yeah, a bit of an aggressive push, to say the least, out of Viper, and that was exactly what I was going to touch on, is that Team Kiri cannot have picks like that happen if they want to take this series. I do believe they have the talent, they have the strats, but I think it goes without saying that they're going to need to be almost flawless if they want to take out the Pioneers.
Yeah, almost flawless is a great way of categorizing it, because I think I agree with you. But there is some nice movement going off. Cash out has already been plugged, and it's already about to be flipped right now as they are just going for it. Viper holding on for dear life, almost able to get it, but immediately gets swarmed by the rest of the Pioneers.
Double heavy.
They are running double heavy. This is a bit of a change up. Viper, the light player, is now running a heavy. And maybe this is exactly what we needed and exactly what we were talking about, how the Pioneers don't know how to handle non-meta picks.
Yeah, and this is even less meta than they probably anticipated going into this one, but it does make sense for Team Kiri bringing in a winch just for some extra manipulation and some extra crowd control as well. We do see Kazo fall down there though, but he is going to get instantly res. Brendy not dropping in until he absolutely has to from this position. He might not get there in time, as that goo's going to bounce off the dome, and no damage came in either. So we do see some heals coming in on EK. And now the Pioneers are in a very awkward position as that box is floating upward. Finally, they destroy the gravity cube. Spawns. This script is now completely flipped as we see Team Kiri starting to take height. A huge winch coming in on Llama as well, but the counter winch comes in. He's going to get an assist on Viper, that being Spawns. And now we have a 3v2. Graziv about to fall as well, only 25 HP. This is going to be a relatively uncontested point, but that C4 is going to do massive damage with the combination of those pyronades. EK actually gets the finish with the pyronade on Brendy, so 3v2, and they're still in possession here. So this is a huge hold we're seeing out of Team Kiri.
Yeah, Team Kiri played that perfectly. The gravity cubes are really changing things as well. And just the struggle to try and break them as soon as they go down really just is a great control weapon for just controlling an area on the map. I love the way that Akazo uses them. I use them too. I never see them in game, but hey, you know, maybe take notes out there if you guys are heavy mains. And I'm curious as well what Viper's running for his loadout, because what is he running as a heavy? Because I really have seen Viper run heavy maybe once before. I really can't remember.
Yeah, I think we saw this occur exactly maybe one time, but this is not something we're accustomed. And he's on the Lewis gun, so just getting absolutely freaky with it, something we're not used to seeing. He's gonna get winched though, trying to counter winch, but he's just gonna fall to that point blank range. SA-12 from Llama, and this is very tough if you're Team Kiri. Pioneers just going to force the issue here. They know they have a 3v2. Brendy holding all the right angles. They know Team Kiri was not going to make a move here and just stall this point as long as they could. Graziv finds one on spawns, so we have a 2v2. Viper with about 9 seconds left to respawn. Can they get the revive on spawns? This could be crucial to the team fight, but it looks like Llama took a lot of gas damage down below, so that is not going to help at all. We do see Brendy sliding in for that defib and finding a nice shot off of it too. Helping, oh my goodness, helping Spawns get out of there with his life and finding the pick at the same time. Llama has fallen though. What beautiful shots coming in from Brendy, absolutely not missing right now in a 1v1 against Viper, who looks like he came in off of the coin, now looking to get the res on his medium.
This is one of the sloppiest fights I've seen in a while. Both teams just seem to be kind of haphazardly committing to something and then nothing. It's really quite wild, the aggression and then pullback. I just don't know how it's going to work for either team, but there goes Llama, and finally it's looking like Team Kiri might have the advantage in this fight, and finally there goes Brendy down. That was about a 2.5 minute just bumbling around. I don't even know how to categorize that, but I can categorize it as just a little bit sloppy. I don't know why. I think it's something also about that area. The bounce pad, the multi-height, the just everything and trying to control it is just a little bit hectic. So maybe I'm giving them a little bit of grace there, but good shots going off really on both teams, just getting in each other's faces, getting those kills, finally bringing them down. But after all of that, we are going to get the second cash out plugged. Team Kiri will be controlling it. They're going to have time to get set up, and this might be their opportunity. Look at that goo nest as well. Mr. Akazo is an artist, if nothing else.
Yeah, he got that goo out in record time, but Llama walking right into a Ruby barricade. Not what he expected to open that door into, but he's going to make a makeshift hole and find a nice RPG. Doesn't actually do as much damage as it looked like it should have, and Brendy taking some massive shots from EK. He's going to fall, but they're going to go for the immediate res here. Graziv struggling to take height back on the roof, so that's going to give the Pioneers just a little bit of extra time that they needed. Viper RPGs out, misses his winch. Can he find the light? This could be a huge pick. He's going to drop that dome shield for his own safety. Brendy gets him, but EK trades it out as well. So again, Llama left by himself. Graziv trying to get a res here, make it a 3v1. Llama doing the best he can to just, nope, he's just going to jump off the map and take a tactical wipe.
I was going to say that's what you got to do in that situation, because by the time that they come back, they'll have one good attempt versus playing this out and waiting for everybody to coin back in and then having one more maybe last second dive on the point. So 7 seconds coming back, they will have time. It will still be a little bit of a panic as Akazo is just making this as challenging as possible. But realistically, one C4, one RPG can break through a majority of that. And even just that, we saw the breach drill going off, or not the breach drill, I forget what that gadget is called. We don't see the thermal bore going off and just throwing up, burning up all of the goo. Now the engagement is going off. Pioneers trying to hold on to this, trying to find an opening for Team Kiri, but it's not looking too good.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough take, and this might be a 2-0 map count, actually, because of all things. He's stealing in the flame. He's getting goose-stalled on top of it. There's just nothing else you can do in that situation. So Team Kiri take the map, and that actually puts them up 2-0.
Okay, Team Carry 2-0. It's a little interesting to see. This was a much more composed team than we saw in their first matchup. So maybe they'll be able to kind of find their way through. Akazo making that goo work for him, throwing up that goo fortress. That was quite interesting to see. Even when it caught on fire, it was a bit hard to kind of really deal with because now you just have a giant fireball in the middle of the map as well. So I don't know. The man has something going for him, getting 9 kills to his name as well. A whole lot of damage. Seems to be kind of controlling the map so far.
Yeah, he looks absolutely on point right there. That is him displaying what he does to its fullest. They were in control, they were patient. That is the game that Ikazo likes to play. And I think it kind of threw KCP for a whirl because they're also a slow and methodical team. And when you have this chess game going against a goo gun with C4 stalls and pyro mines, it is just really tough to match that stall energy as well. So this could be a really difficult matchup for KCP if Team Kiri can keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, if Team Kiri can keep it up, that is the name of the game. And basically, since they are already at 2-0, they only need one more. And our next one will be Bernal. How do you think that they'll be able to perform on Bernal? Do you think that it's going to lean really towards that goo strategy, or is this going to be the opportunity for somebody to break through it?
I'm not sure how this one is gonna play out. There's definitely some really cheeky spots that you can play on the sides of the buildings when you utilize the goo gun to its fullest potential. But as far as it being such a single level map for the most part, I don't know if the stalls that Team Kiri have normally in their bag are going to be in their bag for this one.
Yeah, and stalling it is kind of what we're seeing that is their game. They play it really perfectly. I love the combo of the mine as well, the pyro grenade. I don't know anybody else that really runs pyro mines. I'm trying to think of in the scene. Maybe there's one other person that I'm just forgetting, but I really think that that's a great strategy for controlling the cash out. I think that it makes it interesting because by the time that you push in there, you have to disarm it. You have to find a way to kind of stall it. You either have to have smoke or shoot it and make sure that you don't get close enough where it burns you. I just think that there's a lot of strategy and a lot that you can control with that. Throw that in there with the gravity cube that he loves to run, and it's just a chaotic mess. And I can kind of see how it works. That's a lot to say. Maybe they can pull it off one more time in Bernal as we have loaded in and the teams are ready.
Yes, indeed. And that's exactly what it is. It's just making a mess. And a lot of these teams are just not comfortable dealing with these messes. The random goo everywhere, random fire, dodging mines that they haven't had to dodge for almost 2 seasons of Pro League. So it is different. And it is something that not all teams fully have adapted on dealing with yet. But we do have this first fight taking place as the thermal bore to open things up. And we're going to see Spawns find a pick on Graziv, but Viper finds one as well on Brendy. Make it 2 dead for Team Kiri and make it 3 dead. Convincing fight as Llama finds at least 2. I think it was 3. I think
Uh,
2.
No, you got 2. That was still some good kills on them. That looked like Team Kiri was feeling really strong, really confident, and then just walked into their demise. It's so interesting how I can feel their confidence and then immediately it shift when they're like, "Uh-oh, somebody's down." And then somebody just pops off like Llama in a battle like that, and just getting close into Llama is yeah, a little bit not the best strategy. But the cash out A has been started. The Pioneers are controlling it right now. If they get this, they might have an opportunity to take their first map of the series.
Yeah, and they're gonna need it because if they don't, that is all she wrote, and Team Kiri will move on. But if you are dealing with this as the Pioneers, it is this is really going to come down to the light and landing glitch grenades or something to just deal with all the utility that two heavies have to throw at you. We are seeing a random hole get made, and now that goo is going to get set on fire, so kind of biting themselves in the butt there. But we do have the Pioneers solid position. A glitch trap does come into their glitch grenade, but EK, beautiful shots onto spawns there up top, but they do find a fast revive, and nice shots coming in from Brendy as well. So the counter fight is getting mixy in the staircase. It is getting messy as well. Pioneers falling down to about 1.5 players, but it is the same for Team Kiri. Heal beams flying across the screen in both directions. Beautiful shots from Brendy. Again, Grazeev all by himself, and he's gonna get him as well. Nasty stuff out of Brendy. Now they just need to maneuver this goo labyrinth, and they can get the steal.
This is turning into the battle of the repeaters. Look at that kill. That's a great shot on him. And then the healing kill as well. Oh my god, I need to message these people and have them analyze when I play the repeater, because I can't do that. I can never do that. I just die. Even if I have another medium healing me up, it's just impossible. But these guys make it look so easy, so professional. That is what separates them from me. It's looking like the Pioneers are going to be able to hold on to this cash out. Team Kiri still want to show that they are a dominant force, and they go directly for a kill. Viper getting an RPG kill, following it up with a Lewis gun kill as well. Llama not looking too healthy as well, going down to half health, trying to res his teammate back up, but there is the wipe on the Pioneers. Team Kiri hitting back hard.
Yeah, Team Kiri taking that for no other reason but the ego fight there, and that it might just be what they needed to get the ball rolling back for them. Again, they are just one map away, but they are at a deficit here on this map, 1-0 currently. As you see, Viper trying to drop Vault 2, and they're going to get an early tap on it, but they are not running a light, so it is going to be one of those situations where you have to win your Vault fight, and then you're going to have to trek that thing over to point 2. So even if they do that, they're not really going to have that much time to set up on it.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see the teams that have more time to set up, they make it just that much more difficult. And especially with a team like Team Kiri, giving them any second extra of time to set up just means 100 more goo in every spot, every corner, everything that you don't need it to be in. It's kind of like sand when you go to the beach. Just gets everywhere. But now we're going to see Vault 2 get plugged, but the teams are still battling it out in this building. Winch Claw going off, pulling them in. Llama trying to deal some damage with that SA shotgun, throwing some C4 on his retreat, gets caught in the gravity cube, going down. There is a very pivotal kill as Team Kiri are on the hunt, as it looks like the Pioneers have just yeeted that Vault out of there. They know that they are about to be wiped, as Spawns is the last remaining member. He's got a little bit of height to his name, but surely he won't be able to get out of this.
Yeah, I think if I'm Team Kiri, I play a two-man game here, hunting spawns, and one person tries to retrieve that box, because again, you just have two guys with the slowest movement in the game right now. And Spawn's doing the right thing, just playing his life. They just now are getting over to this vault, so we might see this all over again, Rio.
You know what? I just don't know what to expect in this game. It's so wild, where I really feel like a team is finally getting their steam rolling, and then just everything changes in a moment's notice. But if you're a Pioneers fan, you kind of hope for that right now. You hope that they're able to hold on to this, get a vault, get the plug, get anything going. Right now, you don't want to be Spawns, as he's been caught out, having to go through a gateway, get out of there, but immediately gets followed up, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to get away, as he is just being chased down. But here is his teammates ready to back him up, and look at that. That is some great team play. Llama knew when to pull off, go there, and they have turned this battle, as the Pioneers are now looking strong as they make their way towards this cash out.
Yeah, I looked away for about 5 seconds, and then I saw Grazeev about 150 meters away from the rest of his team, so I don't know how he exactly got split out that poorly, but that is going to be detrimental for this team fight, as we have a massive glitch grenade come in, and that's going to just shatter any utility that Team Kiri has. Once they figure out how to get out of this gravity cube, they are going to go for a flip here, and hopefully not trigger those massive traps on point.
Yeah, and that gravity cube has a shocking amount of health. Like, it's not just something you can blow up with 1 or 2 shots. You really have to aim at it, and then you're thrown in the middle of this zero gravity force field as well. It's just funny. It's weird. I'm loving that we're seeing it and seeing it used effectively. I really think that it's one of those gadgets that's just slept on and really could be utilized for a lot of heavies, just for controlling, just for holding on to your cash out. Just those last few second kites really do matter. And here comes the approach by Team Kiri. They want to try and flip this and bring us to 1 more cash out. They bring it down underneath. They have the goo. They're going to go for a direct steal. This is a risky play, but it could work out for them, but they have to pull off. They're now being pushed into a corner, diving out now with the bounce pad. They're holding on for dear life, but the time is running down. The Pioneers are looking strong. They only have 2 people in this. Akazo being the last remaining person, and Spawn's got all 3 of them in that battle, guaranteeing them the map. I saw a few people in chat saying this is the final map, but no! There will definitely be at least 1 more as the Pioneers take it in the 2-0.
Yeah, and that was a strong showing from the Pioneers as well, pretty much shutting down every Team Kiri push. I think Kiri had possession a couple of times there, and the Pioneers just kind of brute forced it. They switched up their game plan a little bit, adapting to Team Kiri, and weren't really letting Kiri set up the way they normally would. And the Pioneers showing that they can play multiple styles.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to describe it. Multiple styles. There were definitely multiple play styles that we've seen across these maps. I'm just happy that we finally have a matchup. Like, we finally have 2 teams that are showing us that they are equal, that they can bring us into a actual series, and that it's not just going to be over just like that. So I love to see it. That was a good turnaround by KCP, and now really the storyline is can they continue it? Can they hold on? Can they bring us 1 more map and then tie things up?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just 1 map at a time. That's the mentality you have to have. I guess if you're both teams, because again, Kiri is on match point to
Yep.
themselves. So a lot of pressure too. You could be feeling it if you're on the if you're in the locker room with Team Kiri over there, but definitely the backs against the wall if you're the Pioneers. But if anybody can do it, it's Brendy and the boys. Llama's been popping off, Spawns with the huge 3-piece there as well. And we are going to be seeing them take their talents over to Sis Horizon for this next one.
That's a great one to get into, and I think that this one's actually going to be a little bit towards Team Kiri's favor. The way that these cash outs are manipulated on Sis Horizon are manipulated in a way that they tend to be pulled out into very open spots. But that's kind of what the goo solves, especially with somebody like Akazo, because he can buy themselves what we're calling now is like a roof. They tend to just build a roof over themselves, and it can take a few shots. Goo is super strong. It can take a lot of direct damage, and basically you need an RPG, C4, something really strong to crack a hole in it. And just a lot of people panic in that last few seconds. It just buys them just a perfect amount of time. It's one of the unique things of this game. It's why Akazo is known as the Goo Man, is that he is just really good at kind of building those rooftops. And I think that that will play well for them for getting these last panic steals if we see it. But also, if they just control the map and have plenty of time to set up as well, they will do exactly that as well. They'll just make it as challenging as possible. So, KCP, I think, is the one that has an uphill battle. And on top of that, as well as being on map point for Team Kiri, it's going to be difficult. But if anybody can do it, it is definitely the Pioneers. So, chat, I would love to see who you feel is going to take it. Are we going to see more maps? Is this where it all ends? Let me know as we get started on Sis Horizon.
I'm looking to see what... Oh, I see it already. We are still rocking the F car for Graziv. I personally respect it. However, you have to be very careful in your one-on-one against Brendy, who I assume is still running that repeater. No real reason to switch off of it, as it has been completely dominant for them, and it is absolutely going to win that 1v1 against the F car, especially with the angles that Brendy's been playing. Spawns, speaking of angles, huge shots coming in from Spawns there. Llama getting aggressive off of it, and they do find the first pick on Ikazo. Team Kiri has otherwise pretty much regen their health effectively, but Brendy still has his height. He's been doing this all series long, just staying above as long as he can and getting off as much damage as he can, and that's going to force Team Kiri to reposition, and Pioneers are going to get a nice setup here on the first vault.
Yeah, they're going to get a nice setup, but can they hold on to it? It seems like they've pulled off just a little bit. The Pioneers have the height advantage. Running around, they seem to kind of control the map as well. They've now pulled off and maybe are trying to force it towards A. They want to be the buffer in between it, but I don't think that they're going to go to A now. B has been called. The vault is traveling. We see that 25K making its way, about to be plugged. This one's interesting as well because it can be winch clawed out into a very open area or drop down into kind of a more enclosed spot, and they have made the call to go for it, and that's amazing. Somebody clipped that because that was Brendy, I think, riding it. Yeah, just not something you see every day.
No, and now we see Viper spotting two Pioneers right in front of him, and he's just gonna aggressively winch this away. I don't know if this is the move, as Pioneers are still all over this point, but a huge RPG is gonna land on Llama, who's kind of singled out here. Viper actually playing his life moderately effectively, but now he's getting aggressive off this push against two players, and with only 20 bullets in that shack, he's not really going to be able to find anything here. Almost does, but he gets traded out or punched out by Brendy with that left hook. Graziv, last man alive, only 25 HP and a dream. He's trying to get the one on Brendy here, but just a very aggressive push with 25 HP, more of a tactical wipe than anything else.
Yeah, I still don't think he should have been able to bring down Brendy in that battle. Only at 25 HP, he only had to return basically 1-2 bullets. But hey, that's how it plays out. Team Kiri are going to have to respawn, and look at that bounce, pulling it out all the way over towards the shiny spear. And that is going to be a very interesting spot for them to be in. The Pioneer is going to have the height advantage, going to have basically every advantage for this. I don't see a world where Team Kiri is able to flip this, but let's see if I eat my words as they're coming in with a red barrel. Going to go for it immediately. Gravity Cube as well. Nice winch pulling it off. That's another great use of the Gravity Cube. They throw it in there. The Pioneers don't know what to do. They are scrambling to get on it. The heals are going off. Oh my god, they got the flip, and now they just have to hold on for about 15 seconds as they pull off. Viper goes down in that battle. They are trying to steal it, but the C4 and the Pyro mines have exploded and have basically controlled the area, controlled the cash out. Llama running away, having to figure out what the hell just happened.
I think I'm having a panic attack. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I do know EK just picked up 2 with the click of a button on that C4, and that was a fantastic drawn-up play on that steal. There was nothing that the Pioneers could do, especially in this heal meta. You know, a few weeks ago, you could just demat through any of those openings and stop that steal no problem. But with that heal beam in hands, your routes are significantly compromised with all that goo that's in play. Nice shots from Llama. That's going to be 2 dead for Team Kiri, and they know exactly where EK is. So they're going to turn things around here, but that still probably does not feel great if you're the Pioneers to lose that box the way you did.
No, it's definitely, it's that internal battle of like, how far do you stay away from the cash out? Because you don't want to just be exposed. You don't want to be usually in that same room unless you're down to just a few seconds left. So they played it where I thought was perfectly, but again, they aren't used to this Gravity Cube throwing it up there, and they're able to just manipulate the cash out. I've said it so many times today that the Gravity Cube is slept on, and Akazo has been the perfect pitch man for this gadget. And honestly, more people need to play with it because the manipulation and the control that you're able to do, I think, is starting to rival something maybe like the goo grenades. But there we go. The cash out is about to be stolen again. The flip is being attempted by the Pioneers, trying to hold, by Team Kiri, as they are diving directly on it. Both teams engaging in each other's faces. One of them goes down. Graziv gets Brendy down in this battle, but he's surviving on just a sliver of HP. Spawns almost got him down with a few shots from that 93R, but Llama, being the only remaining member, does bring Viper down. Can he find the second one? And oh my god, these two teams are at each other's throats.
This is a matchup of all matchups right now. Both teams have came to play a nasty 2v1 clutch out of Llama there. I really thought when Spawns didn't get that pick on Graziv running away, that was going to swing the fight, but they still somehow managed to turn it around. This is going to be a really tough point to retake, but we do see Team Kiri coming off spawn already, about 45 seconds to work with. maybe a little bit less considering the steal time as well, as the Pioneers are back at God height.
Yeah, they have the ultimate height. They have the advantage in every way. There's C4 on the point. They're going to be able to control this, but here comes Viper and the rest of his teammates. They're throwing it again. They want to go for the exact same play, but that winch claw did not work. It is not looking good as they take a lot of damage. Akazo brings Graziv down, and they might go for a last-second steal, but surely there's not enough time as Viper goes down to Brindy. They're going to get a heal and a res back off, and two teams are still here. They want to battle it out. They're diving into each other, but Viper is not in the mix. So Team Kiri, I'm not sure why they're going for this engagement. I'm not sure really what's happening, as the things have kind of slowed down just a little bit in this. C4 blowing up the floor below them, Winchclaw pulling them out, but the goo just stops him in his place. Brindy gets a kill there, and it's all on Viper. It looks like he coined in and is pretty far away from the rest of his teammates. Team Kiri gonna have to figure a way to get back into this, but we will see one more cash out.
Yeah, I have to question the play call there from Team Kiri. I understand falling off point. You don't want to just hop on and die when you know you can't get it, when EK was the last man alive. But at that point, and that point right there, he should have immediately just turned around and ran. And I thought they were going to be going for some sort of reset there, depending on the coin situation. But Viper coining in at the very end, it just seemed very disorganized, as we do now have the Pioneers gateway pushing this box over to C. And this is going to be the last point of the map and potentially the series.
Potentially the series indeed, but the Pioneers might bring us to one more map. Their engagement is already kicking off. They're directly on top of each other. The gravity cube has gone down, but the steal is being attempted right now by Team Kiri. They seem uncontested, and the flip did go off. They throw down the APS, and now they have a few seconds to set up before the Pioneers even make it back in here.
I can't even count how many times we've seen this today in just the few matches we've played. The immediate flips. You would think these teams would somewhat try to play around that thought. But however, we see a nice RPG pad coming out of Llama there and escaping with his life, just a sliver of health, but it is enough to stay alive. Team Kiri all at 50% HP. So this is a decent position for the Pioneers if you're going for a retake. They do find the pick, but Llama falls as well. They do get a quick revive, but it doesn't seem like it's enough, as Viper just last man alive. Pioneers in a 2v1 going for a res again. They get the res for the Pioneers actually, and again just extending this fight longer and longer. This is not exactly what you want to be doing, because a wipe here is going to prove very costly. 1v1 Viper against Llama. Llama going for the revive on Brendy. This is going to go sour for Kiri very quickly, as Graziv now coming in off of his coin. The Pioneers trying to hunt down Viper as fast as they can, but Viper's playing this perfectly. Again, both teams now at full HP. Viper does not have a drop from underneath. He's going to have to winch something out of here. He can get there in time, but no, he doesn't. The flip comes into play, and the goo actually keeps Brendy alive as well. Rio, take over. I can't breathe.
Oh my god, they're going to go for one more steal, but everybody is here. The cash out is running down, and Akazo is controlling it. The chaos is imploding as all of the stage is just destroyed around them. There is one more steal. If they're able to hold on, they will get the flip, but no. There are explosions and bringing them down. The Pioneers have done it, stealing it right out from the grips of Team Kiri. I don't think anybody expected this, and I am just loving it. We are eating good tonight, merch, because we have one more map.
Yeah, I think this is what everybody at home and in the booth wanted to see. Absolutely insane series. Both teams playing out of their minds in their own rights and regards. Every player even having their moments of popping off. This one was all about Llama, 8-7-2, just lighting up the scoreboard. But I think it really comes down to the positioning breakdown in those final moments, where Team Kiri again just getting a little bit too split up, and we have the Pioneers just sticking together like a tight knit unit. So I mean, I really think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think that these are incredibly close teams. I think that they almost have figured each other out, and that's kind of what we see in these longer series is that they play against each other more. They know how the other team is playing for that day, and then they try and work through whatever crack in their defense they might be able to find. So it's interesting, and especially going into the final map because both teams have figured each other out. They've been able to get the flips, they've been able to get the steals, they've been able to control the maps as well. So it's really all going to come down to this. One team will be welcomed into next weekend, and one team will have to figure out what they need to do to get back in for season 3. So I just can't believe that it all comes down to this. We haven't seen Vegas play today at all. And just going off of the two teams, do you think it favors either of these teams?
I feel like Vegas probably favors the Pioneers.
Oh, really?
But
Why?
I just feel like honestly the reps that they have on this as a team and the experience,
Mhm.
it's been around for so long. These guys have been around playing together for so long, even though they're newly formed
Mhm.
within the last couple of seasons. These guys have been playing ranked specifically together for a very long time, and Vegas has just been here since the start. However,
Yeah.
for Team Kiri, they are a relatively newer team. The scrims not always going the way they want, not always scheduled how they want. So less reps, and I think it might really just boil down to that one. But I am curious to see if they maybe throw a curveball going into this one. They already threw one with the double heavy,
That's
and
true.
it looks like they are sticking with that double heavy.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice to stick with the double heavy, but hey, if it works for them, it will be a good meta shift. Because as we said before, I think the Pioneers just seem to struggle with that different meta, just not playing the game normally. But I struggle to even say the word normally because it's the finals. There's so much variation, there's so many different play styles, and definitely even in the pro scene, which, makes it really quite fun for all of us. But now the engagement has been started on top of the Megadome. Vault 1 has been tapped by Team Kiri. They're set up a little bit and just taking some pop shots off from each other. This is a typical way that we start off Vegas. If anybody goes down in it, it will be a perfect opportunity to dive on them. But unless that happens, I think that Team Kiri will be able to get that and dive out of there. They did have a bounce pad set up, but Spawns was able to just delete it before they could take it out of there. They do follow the rest of their teammates as they move that vault, and now Spawns coming in directly behind them gets slowed down by some goo. He is rocking that 93R and bouncing through the window. He's now gotten back on the same level. Raziv running on the bottom level. The plug does go off. Cash out A being started with Team Kiri in control.
Yeah, they do get the plug there in the midst of all this chaos. Viper gonna take some self-damage, destroying that red just to go through the floor. I can't sign off on that decision. However, we are now in a 3v2 with Team Kiri, EK and Krazy fighting for their life. Make it just EK all by himself. There is some damage on the side of the Pioneers, but it's really not going to be enough. EK needs to force this fight and wipe as fast as possible.
Yep, and he still finds a kill in the midst of that, but the flip will happen. The Pioneers seem to be in pretty good control of that entire engagement. They were able to bring it down to just a Kazo, and then it finally got him down in there. They're blowing up the C4, everything that's on there. Oh, look at that bounce pad. Cash out has been manipulated out into this alleyway. And now they have the ultimate height of that corner. They're going to be able to set up and just watch any approach from it. Cash out now, halfway done. Red barrel in the hand of all of the Team Kiri. I like this approach. I'm not sure where they're going to send them off. There's one. They're poking holes, trying to blow up everything on the point. They're throwing that off. But no, what just happened? Viper held on to that red barrel a little bit too long, and it blew up in his hands. Took a little bit of damage, but thankfully his nice medium is able to heal him right back into it. But all the while, this cash out has run down. The Pioneers are on top. They are bunched up very close together. There's the gravity cube. The cash out has been pulled directly into this area. This will be a steal going off, but no, they get pulled off of it almost immediately. All of the Pioneers dove directly on there. The healing beams are keeping them up in this, but no, all of Team Kiri go down. Pioneers played that perfectly. Lost Llama in the midst of it, but were able to heal everybody back up and get their teammates back in this battle and take control of Cash Out 1.
Yeah, those heals almost did enough, but not quite. It didn't buy the time that they needed on the life of Ikazo. And I do think that Viper may have some nightmares about red barrels tonight if they do not win this map. So I'm hoping to see him grab maybe a gas barrel this time around, or just go out guns blazing. But we do see Team Curie already taking shots from the Pioneers, who are holding top metal and in a very powerful position. And Team Curie already getting split up as Graziv is looking for the heals. But Viper on a solo mission right now, just trying to find an RPG on somebody. Even if he finds this one, he
Oh.
does miss that winch, but there's 2 Pioneers ready to look down on him anyway. He's going to go for the red barrel, making me a little bit nervous. He's got 2 of them, make it 2. Not finding much damage there. And again, this is really just turned into a game of cat and mouse at this point, as now Team Curie looking to reposition over at the elevator.
Yeah, we tend to see this when the teams know what's at stake. The first cash out has gone down, and we're really looking down the barrel of potentially losing this map. So things slow down. They try and find a more strategic way of approaching everything. And yeah, I am not really sure if we will see a plug for a couple of minutes, as Team Curie are controlling the vault, but they have to go basically across all of the Pioneers if they want to get a plug anywhere. The Pioneers have the height advantage. They have basically slowed them down. And look at this. This is what I'm talking about. They have to cross the middle of this map, and any approach will draw the fire of the Pioneers. And you saw Viper attempting that right now and immediately brought down to under half health. But yeah, Merch, things are really going to go slow for a minute.
Yeah, if you're Team Curie, if I'm Team Curie, I try to throw this box somewhere median to both the points and then just work off of that. Honestly, try to reposition, try to cause somewhat of a diversion, catch the attention of that box. It looks like they're just going to move as a unit, though, and Pioneers are just going to jump right back on height. Team Curie not quick enough with it to take height back, so this is going to be, again, an advantage for the Pioneers, even though spawns has fallen pretty low, and we have a bit of destruction here on the metal structure. This fight is really dragging out here. Nobody wants to wipe, but somehow the Pioneers walk away with this box. So it looks like Team Curie may have given it up, but a winch comes in from Viper, again, up on top metal by himself. He's going to fall to Llama. Now we have Ikazo and Graziv following the fight. They do find the follow-up pick on spawn, so that is good. However, 2 immediate defibs come back in, and it looks like the Pioneers are going right back to height as spawns gets farmed off of that res. Graziv just trying to play his life. He gets a few heals in there. A missed winch from Viper, but he does have a kill lined up in front of him. Quarter health Brendy, and he is the last one for the Pioneers, just doing everything he can to stay alive. The patented Brendy special, just throwing the goo behind you and kiting away. And Viper's having a really hard time hunting him down, so this is going pretty well for Brendy and the Pioneers, especially considering that this box is not moving right now. So they do wipe, but that box did not move that entire time.
Yeah, I don't know how much time that was. I want to say probably like 3, maybe 4 minutes of just the slowest vault fight I have seen in a very long time. But Team Curie are the ones that were able to come out on top, and they have plenty of time to set up. We have an APS, we have goo, we have the barricade as well, and they have the mines and C4 on point as well. This is going to be entirely a difficult place for the Pioneers to break through. They're on the rooftop now. Brendy looking for any information that he can find, going with the rest of his teammates, getting close to the point, throwing down that dome shield. The Glitch Grenade follows it up very closely. Everybody is in each other's faces. One goes down from each team. They're trying to catch each other out, but there's 1, 2, and all of Team Curie go down just like that. The Pioneers hold on. Spawn's getting 2 kills right at the end.
Yeah, that was a fast and convincing fight, and it may have been a make or break fight, as we've touched on multiple times today. Team Curie much better when they are defending point, not trying to play for a retake. They do have a minute to work with coming off of spawn, and they actually get a pretty solid spawn, all things considered as well. But again, a minute is not that much time left to work with, as we do see them taking height, and they're going to find the Pioneers on the other end of the roof. So this engagement is about to take place.
It is about to kick off right here, and this could be it. Nakazo gets a great kill to start things off. A winch claw pulls the other one in there. Nakazo gets a second kill in mid-air. It is all down on Brendy, and he goes down. I'm sorry, he's down on Llama, and Viper brings him down. The flip has happened. That was a perfect steal, perfect engagement. I'm not sure why the Pioneers decided to go on that bounce pad and into the crosshairs of Akazo. And look at this. There's the setup again, the goo nest, as we call it. He has encased it in sarcophagized that cash out, and I'm not going to have enough time. And we get to see one more cash out there, Merch.
Yeah, this is match point. You couldn't draw it up any better. Absolute cinema, and it looks like the Pioneers are going to have the favorable position going over to Vault 3, but not by much, as Team Curie is right above them. We do see Pioneers cutting all sound, walking, crouch walking, really trying not to be heard, but it might be too little too late, as Team Curie is also slowed down a lot, so they may have the drop on them.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting because given how long the last fault fight was, we only have 10 minutes and a little bit left in this map. I don't think that we have time to run it down like that, but the teams are at each other's throats. The dash is going off, holding on for dear life. The dome shield keeping everybody protected, but there is the gravity cube throwing the Pioneers into the air, becoming a target for Viper to chase them down. He spots one out of the corner of his eye, pulls a winch claw out. That is a great pull, pulling him into the shotgun and trying to connect them. Getting one more shot on Llama, brings him down. Akazo getting Brindy, Spawns being the last member remaining, and Team Kiri will take control of this vault and plug it in to cash out D.
Yeah, good fight from Kiri. Kind of opened up by Viper there, who's really proven to be the X factor, at least today, for Team Kiri. Whether he was on light or on heavy, everything has really revolved around the picks or the not picks that Viper is getting. When he gets that first blood, I believe Team Kiri has won almost every fight. And when he gets picked, it just goes the absolute opposite way. But we do see the Pioneers taking the elevator up. They have a full clock to work with as they try to get in there. We see an aggressive thermal bore going in, just trying to make some holes and diversions to throw Team Kiri off guard.
Yeah, they just need to find a way in here. There's a winch claw that pulled that cash out into a little more open of an area, and the Pioneers now want to go for it, but it looks like one of those pyro mines has exploded. That will control the area for a few more seconds, but Team Kiri is playing this pretty perfectly. They're split up, but still very close and ready to go on at a moment's notice. Akazo slowing them down. Llama falls on the chase from Akazo, and that's going to make things so much more difficult. Look at this setup. The flip, though, is being attempted right now by the Pioneers. They drop it down, forcing everybody to fall, but Team Kiri now going to have to find a better position to get set up in as this is running down. We got halfway on the cash out remaining. Who is going to hold it at the end there, Merch?
I'm not quite sure, but it does look like Team Fury has the right idea, soaring out of the sky, but so is Pioneers right on their tail, and EK is going to fall, so all stalls that they have on point are now gone, and this could be it right here. It is massive three-piece out of Llama. They are going to light this box on fire, but there is plenty of time still to work with here. Somebody's just got to hop it. Some heals have to take place, and we are going to see the Pioneers advance.
Yeah, that is it. There's no time left. They have gotten the flip. They have gotten the win somehow. Team Kiri has been defeated. They came in as the top seed, a map advantage. But wow, the Pioneers have pulled it off. They were able to get 3 in a row, I should add. And that was amazing. A reverse sweep. You don't see that every day.
No, you do not. And that got extremely too close to comfort on both sides way too many times. But a huge congratulations to the Kansas City Pioneers, who pull out a beautiful reverse sweep. Backs completely against the wall there. Team Kiri, valiant effort, great effort. I think they shocked a lot of people today with how close they really made that. But I guess it's just back to the drawing board and better luck next time.
Yeah, and just one thing that I want to point out from all this is that when we first saw Team Kiri in the very first group, I felt like I had a lot that I could point out that they did wrong. They just had bad positioning. They didn't seem to be working as a group. And going to this matchup, I cannot say anything. I don't think that they did really anything wrong. This was such a close matchup that it turned into these little tiny mistakes, little out of positioning, not the big mistakes that I saw in the previous grouping. So that was exciting for me because I was able to see truly kind of what Team Kiri is in my head and why they're known as kind of more of a top tier team. I mean, they had a great run in close and they've had a great run in season two, but sadly, this is where we say goodbye to them and welcome the Pioneers to next weekend's championship series. So, here are all of the teams that will be playing on the NA side. You want to run us through these, Merch?
Yeah, absolutely. We got Nightmare, Fire Strays, Space Station Gaming, Task Managers, Envy, Young Guns, Diminish, and the Pioneers were the two teams that made it through today. Some absolutely stacked teams making it through, and maybe a couple of teams that people weren't necessarily expecting to make it through, but they're definitely proving people wrong, taking names, writing them down, and remembering them.
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys are a Pioneers fan, this will be your chance to watch them next weekend, and hopefully they're able to continue that battle, continue that energy, continue everything, and run it all the way towards the top. So be sure to tune in this next weekend where everything kicks off. We're gonna have the EU and NA side, and it is going to be intense. We're gonna be playing for a good chunk of change, and honestly, from that lineup, you're not gonna want to miss it. But do you have any final thoughts before we send her off for the day?
Uh, GG's to everybody. We saw some great finals. It feels good to be back in the casting booth. It's been a minute for me, but
Mm.
if it felt great to get back in here. I had a blast with you, Rio, as always, and I can't wait to see more high level finals.
Absolutely. And one more shout out. We do have an event happening tomorrow here on PHL. It will be the Luck Cup. It is a band style event and it'll be really interesting to come check out. So we have a lot of teams signed up for that. Be sure to come check that out. We'll be tweeting out all the details here shortly as well. So stay tuned. Come check that out tomorrow and then next weekend for the championship series. But we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, chat, for watching. And again, we have welcomed two teams in. We will see you next weekend for the championship series. Have a good one.
Peace.